Hi there, and welcome to today's episode of Digital Natives. I've been your wonderful host, and I'm still your wonderful host, Sami Mohamud. Um, Today, I have with me another set of guests that will be joining me on today's episode to discuss tribalism. But before we get into all of that, I would like them to introduce themselves, starting with my right.
My name is Amal Sahid. I'm a waste management consultant with Newton Resources and Waste Management.
Welcome to the show, Sahid.
Thank
And
you.
on my left.
I'm Ibrahim Olaguju. I'm a broadcast journalist and an MSc student of the University of Lagos.
Okay, so today's topic very short and simple, straight to the point: fixing tribalism. I want us to center this discussion on how we can recognize each other as Nigerians first, without concerning the other about whether you're from the west, north, south. But before we get into all of that juicy bits, Said, I want you to be able to. Actually, I want you to tell me what you understand by tribalism.
Tribalism. Tribalism. What I understand by tribalism is it's a way of thinking or behaving of a group of people who organize themselves in a group, right, where they are loyal to people in that group than to others outside of the group.
Okay, all right. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, that's basically what tribalism is,
Yeah.
because it's when you feel your own group, your own tribe, your own society is more superiority complex to other groups. And then you give all benefits, you give all the benefits of all your benefits to your own, to that particular
group,
tribe, while depriving the other tribe the benefits.
Okay. All right. So we all know how tribalism affects us in Nigeria now. Why do we think, or where do we think this problem stemmed from in this country? Why is it that other countries are very nationalistic, but we're still divided on very simple things like our ethnic group?
If you go back in history to see how Nigeria was even formed, how Nigeria was structured after the independence. That's just our first, when we have given the freedom to do whatever we want with our country. The first three political parties, and this is surprising, the first three political parties in Nigeria, the first one is NCNC, National Council of Nigeria and Cameroon. And I think that is from the east and the south. The second one is Northern Political Party, the north. Then the third one is Action Congress, which is the west.
Yes.
So those were the three main parties that structured Nigeria. I think that is what gave birth to tribalism, and not even nationalism, because from there they felt like, oh, the east should be one part, should be a country on its own, the north should be a country on its own, the west should be a country on its own.
That's not what gave birth to tribalism, because I believe before the political parties, it's the amalgamation. Nigeria, we were different. We were diverse people with distinct culture that are not peculiar to one another before the amalgamation came together. So when they brought us together, we found it difficult for us, especially the western, the southern and the northern side. The northern part, we have majorly Muslims there, while the southern part, we have majorly Christians there. So we had it very difficult for us to come together as one. And secondly, we have about 250 ethnic group in Nigeria. It's just normal. We cannot hide it. It's normal. The diversity is there, but it's for us to now look beyond diversity. So when we have 250 ethnic group, and then the major ones are the Yoruba, Igbo, and then Hausa. So we have other minor subgroup that will feel victimized. They will feel so we don't know them.
Well, even
their voices are not heard.
Tend to find their way under the umbrella of the major group.
But they still feel they've been left out of politics, they've been left out.
Definitely.
So that is another reason why we have tribalism in the country. Then also we have resource control. Resources is not evenly shared. That has been the way the land is. We have a part where we have more agriculture, we have a part where we have more fuel, more petrol and the like. So some people feel because I'm from the north and because you're from the south or the west, then you cannot derive from our own resources. It's our own resources. We should be the one in control of it. So these few things. Then lastly, religious intolerance. I've mentioned it before. Muslims and Christians, we've not found the balance. We've not found coming together as one. We have two distinct faiths. The Islamic religion, the Christianity religion, and then traditional, the ATR that is gradually fading away. So until we come together and see that we see each other as human first, before we see religion, before we see tribe, That is what we can now talk about fighting tribalism.
All right. I like that. I really like that. So now that you guys have mentioned the causes, what's the first step you'd suggest to fixing tribalism?
The first step I'll say is like you said, we have to see ourselves as individuals first. We have to have that. Okay, yes, I am a person. You are a person. We have diverse likes and needs. Yes, but we have to recognize that. Yeah, I'm entitled to my own way of life. You are also entitled to your own way of life.
Actually, hold that thought there for me, please. We'll be going for a short break right now, and please keep it locked to Aleeftv. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. It's still Digital Natives. Today's episode, we've been discussing fixing tribalism, and I'm with Ibrahim and Sahid. Just before the break, you were just touching upon a step to fixing tribalism. So
Yes.
please.
Yeah, so what I was saying is we need to recognize each other as individuals first with our own different values, right? That as much as we like to focus on the differences between us, we have more in common. Even I have more in common with me and my tribe mates than someone who's from the Arctic. Because we're humans first. We eat food. We relieve ourselves. We have so many things that is going for us. Even the diversity between us can be used as a strength if we know how to harness it. So that is the first one. And secondly, we need to reevaluate and reprogram ourselves in such a way that we emulate civilized values. Where you see someone from the street and you know that, okay, yes, this person is from the north, and you have not seen that person before, you should not act in such a way that it's discriminatory because you've never seen someone like that before. Yeah. And stuff like that can happen by when we start training our kids from home that, yes, there are people different than you in this world, that you cannot see everybody at once. But when you come in contact with them, you should be civilized to, in your manner, the way you treat them.
I like that. Do you have a solution? Or
Yes, another solution is our religious leader. We need to come together and then find a way to look past religion. Religion is there to guide us, not to bring disunity, because it's not possible for all of us to worship one God.
Yeah.
So we need
It's not possible?
It's not possible for all of us to worship one God.
Why not?
What you mean is it's not possible for us to practice the same religion.
Exactly,
Yeah,
that's what I
okay.
meant.
All right.
It's not possible for us to practice the same religion.
Yeah.
Even God wanted diversity, that's why he created. That's why he made people have different
backgrounds.
way of worshiping.
Yeah.
So until we need to make sure that our religious leader, instead, how would I put it, make sure that everyone understand that religion is just a means to knowing God, not a means to discriminate between you and your neighbor, or a means to discriminate between you and your friends. So after that, then, as he said, we need to start with socializing our younger ones, the younger generation. Though we are better than our forefathers, our fathers, in terms of tribalism, I can say that.
Have tolerance.
Yes, in terms of tolerance, we are better. So we still need to do this education to educate and then break these stereotypes, not seeing people as
I thank you for saying that. It just reminded me of something. You know, you mentioned religion. The thing is, if each individuals practicing different religions are actually adhering to what their religion is teaching, we will not have a problem. It's because of this tribalism. Even within a religion, there's still tribalism inside it.
Exactly.
There's something I learned recently. We humans we're tribalistic in nature, so it brings a lot of disagreement, right? Then we go to war because of most of the time because of tribalism. There is distrust. Now, if you look into the animal kingdom, chimpanzees, for example, they practice tribalism.
Oh.
Yes, they're not religious. They don't know anything about God. Just because one group of one generation of chimpanzee was born and bred in one part of the jungle, and another, they wage war between themselves for resources.
That's territorial dispute.
That's in the animal kingdom.
Exactly. Why? It's because of
They're wired like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it is so deep in us. It's so deep in us.
But
So
then that's why us as humans have higher intelligence.
And
intelligence.
we need to fight it. We
And
need
we
to be
need
able
to use it. That's the problem human beings don't have, because like a lot of the things we do in our society that we're like, oh, it's normal, it's normal. It's normal in the animal kingdom as well. But we're not the same as them. They gave us the ability to reason and actually make choices based on our reasoning.
Yes. What in this case you just what happened is when something happens to us, right? Like an impulse, our first reaction sometimes usually the wrong one.
Yes.
And we were already used to obeying that first one. That when you see someone that is different from you, you know they say humans are usually scared of what they don't understand.
Yeah.
So when you see someone that you don't like different from you, your first reaction is to fear.
Fear them,
But
yeah.
if we train ourselves, we recondition ourselves to be more, to have more tolerance, to be more accepting. Yeah, I think to go a very long way.
But okay, so now if we now want to focus on, because I feel like where you're trying to head to is seeing each other as Nigerians first, seeing each other as humans first. What do we have that we can all unite under now? What would you suggest is there in Nigeria that we can all gather around and be proud of?
We have a lot to be proud of. Our culture, that's the main, because
But
cultural
culture is
imperialism
different.
our culture is different, but
Yeah.
one thing you find out about most Nigerian culture, they are interwoven.
Okay.
There's something about my culture that you always find in
Another culture.
another culture, about
Yeah.
Igbo and Hausa.
Yeah.
So these
Even
little
Hausa
things.
weddings now, they are changing now. Now they're becoming more like Yoruba weddings.
Yeah, everything is changing because we are changing. Generation is changing, but we still need to work harder to break this stereotype.
Yeah.
So once we understand that we can come together, intertribal marriages is allowed, we can come together and marry each other, then I think in the next few years, I think tribalism
Actually,
should be a thing of the
that's actually
past.
a good solution, you know, that intertribal
Intertribal
marriage. Because if
marriage.
everybody really mixes together, then you don't really have
Then
that
we just
avenue to
Nigeria,
want
not
to-
Yoruba, Igbo, or Hausa.
I think that is I think that's what gave birth to this to NYSC.
Yes.
What, to mix people up?
Yes.
Really?
To send people
People
who
to
spend their
other-
life in one
yeah.
part of the country
You know
to
about it.
another
Can you
part.
imagine
But
someone
even
lived
with
in
that, people still fight to stay in places they're familiar with.
Yes.
Nobody really always
Nobody
wants
likes
to go to a new
change.
state,
Nobody likes change.
Especially now with all this
Nobody
terrorism
likes
that's happening in
change.
the north now.
It's
That
not
place
really
is
about the
no-go zone.
terrorism. That's not why people are not going there. People don't want to leave their comfort zone. For me,
Yeah.
when I was posted to Zamfara, even my mom
You went to
wanted me.
Zamfara?
Yes, I went.
In
My
the heat
mom.
of the Boko Haram thing?
Well, in the heat, there was no Boko Haram in Zamfara, to be particular.
It's because you feel that Zamfara is in the north, and
That's the
how
way the media paints it. And then
That
the
is
media, there's something about Nigerian media. We always paint ourselves bad. What you never see in the BBC, you never see the BBC painting London bad or painting England bad. But you see Nigerian media painting us
They're
bad.
the first to break the news.
Yes, exactly. So we put more importance on negative aspect. Look at the Fulani,
And it's so
the
hard to
Hausa
celebrate
Fulani, the
something
Esman,
good.
and the farmer clashes. You will see in the print media or in a broadcast media that so particular number of people have been killed by probably, or they should use the word, they think a reprisal attack that they are not sure of. But you know that because the story is going to sell,
That's
they're
what
going to use
they're
this
after.
word. These headlines
what
are very
they're
catchy. They're
after.
going to,
And-
and this is causing problem in the country.
One
Yes.
thing they like to do is blame game.
Yes.
Yeah, always trying to blame.
And slowly, this is causing a perception change in the minds of the readers. That anytime they see this word Fulani now,
Yeah.
oh, you have to be cautious. Fulani that used to be a very, very gentle tribe for years, and now immediately you just hear that word Fulani, what comes to your mind?
Yes,
what
man.
is cattle hearing and killing
And
of?
to be honest, you know what? Like me and my mother were discussing the other day, like she gave me some money and then we looked at the 200 naira note and behind it you can clearly see herdsmen. No,
okay,
you
okay,
can
okay.
see the herdsmen and the cattle. And she was like, see, it's been part of the Nigerian system since. So why is it just now that everybody is now herdsmen? And I feel like this is generally a thing that even if you take it on a global scale, like the ability for the media to always spin negativity
Yes.
and make it a way to influence people's mind. Because now that's why you have Islamophobia. a guy walks into the airport with a turban, your heart is like, this guy is carrying bomb.
see,
Exactly.
He has a beard, this guy is carrying bomb.
Thank you for saying that, but I suffered that myself. When I
At the
started keeping,
airport?
not even in school, when I started keeping my beard, that was like 5-6 years ago, because I had my beards grew very, very slow, so they were not even, and I have the confidence to keep them. I'm not the type that is so insecure that I have to be shaving all the time. So I left it out. So that was the heat of Boko Haram, when Boko Haram was, my HOD herself, she sometimes tell me that I want to shave this thing. I don't want people sometimes I'll go to the park in school. The park in school, people will be this is Boko Haram. That is what, but now it's not a fashion, it's not a trend. Nobody sees that, even if Boko Haram is still existing.
People are growing out their beards regardless.
Exactly. So now the stereotype it has shifted from it being a negative to now being accepted. So I think yes, the media, they have an important role. The way they frame their stories, it plays a lot to fixing
Because
tribalism.
to be honest, they're the same. And the media isn't just the news, the media is your TV series, your
media is everything.
movies.
Yes, even our parents, what they tell us.
Have kind of made us think that every Igbo now, they are doing fraud. Like every time you hear about Igbo.
Because that's what you see in the film you watch. That's what you see in
That's what they
series.
portray.
Yes.
And then Yoruba people, they only just want bear.
Or dirtiness. Because it's stereotypes, and we need to break these stereotypes. As Chimamanda said something, and I read, because you're being abused, because you're being victimized, does not mean the person is a saint. It's just the normal law, human right we are fighting for. You don't need everybody to be equal, everybody to be the same to everybody, but everybody's right. You need to understand this is your right, this is your limitation. And once everybody has this right, this limitation, I know that I can't just go and meet you and verbally abuse you or verbally abuse your tribe because I feel your tribe and my tribe are not the same thing, or we are not particularly inclined together. So we need to come together then to fight against tribalism.
Yes, I think with what you've just said now, I think now that brings us to the third, what I feel is the third way of fixing. We've spoken about the media. We've spoken about maybe inter-tribal marriages and all. Justice.
Yes.
Justice. We've not said anything about love, that we should love each other. It's going to be very, very hard for me to love someone that I don't know. It's going to be very
I
hard.
feel like that's patriotism.
Exactly, but I them as well be just to the person.
If you cannot love, be just.
Be just.
And once you're just,
Everything, yes.
Shouldn't be arising.
Exactly. People don't know that tribalism and racism are so close.
They are the same thing.
Exactly. Racism is discrimination based on your race, right? While tribalism is discrimination based on where you were born. Where you were born. It means someone that was born on this side of the fence will be discriminating against another person born on another side of the fence. And they are practically on the same land. And just because of that fence, there will be distrust. One side of the fence will be favoring just that side and be...
I hope those of you at home have been enjoying the topic. Would still come back and finish this up, but keep it locked on Aleeftv. This is still Digital Natives. Welcome back to the show. It is still Digital Natives. For those just joining us, I'm Sami Muhammad. I still have with me Sahid and Ibrahim. We've been discussing about the issue of tribalism in Nigeria and what ways we can go about fixing it and ensuring that we recognize each other as Nigerians first without necessarily concerning ourselves with our tribal background. And so Sahid, just before the break, you were actually mentioning some solutions if you'd like to continue.
Yes, the last solution we're talking about is using being just in the way we treat our fellow man. Now, I just found out that Mr. Ibrahim here, that we are connected more than we previously thought.
All right.
We've known each other for a while now,
Yeah.
but today we decided to talk in depth and we found out that we're from the same state, from the same town, and even from the same family house. Exactly. So now that has brought us closer. We have so much more in common. Even though we're still diverse, probably his best food is going to be different from mine. His best sport is going to be different from mine. Exactly. But now we feel that we're much more connected. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that if he has, if I have a certain quality, exactly. It doesn't mean I'm going to call up call
On
call
him
him
first.
if I know that he is not fully qualified for that post. I'd rather go for someone who's better for the job. So I feel if our political system can adopt stuffs like that, where you don't put someone because the person is from your tribe, you put someone who's qualified for a position there, and if someone from your tribe commits an offense, right, he should
Get
reprimanded.
exactly to
Same
the
way,
full
yeah.
extent of the law, not that is how they said, oh my yeah, is my
Yeah.
exactly.
All right, I like that because I feel like the biggest issue right now is we don't know how to differentiate ourselves apart from our ethnic groupings, and that's such a sad thing for a country like you said has 250 ethnic groups. So if you're only just dividing it among three, then definitely the 100 or the 200 and something rather are going to feel so left out that they don't even feel like they're Nigerians anymore. And that's where we need to actually start addressing it, rather than just even always talking about these Igbo, Hausa. We should talk about the thieves. We should talk about
give
the
a voice to
yeah, you
other
know,
ethnic- you see, I think that has helped me a lot because I grew up in a settings where I'm Yoruba. My next door neighbor is TV. Also, when I go to the mosque, I meet different people from different parts of the country. When I go to the basketball court to play basketball, I meet an Igbo boy. So I grew up with that mindset that there are people of different backgrounds. Well, there are some other people that when they grow up isolated. They only see people with their Yoruba faces, and anytime they see someone from the north, they're like, this person is too different from me, and how am I going to treat this person? His tongue, why is he saying the as a P? What exactly?
I think the problem is our education. I don't think anybody should be shocked or feel like I'm seeing this person for the first time.
yeah.
Because once we have it, like make sure that right from the primary education, the child is taught that we have 250 ethnic groups.
Ethnic group, not
Mention
three.
Not three. You have
Not
250
three.
ethnic groups, and they mention everything, and the child knows a little bit
About-
out of everything. We find out that most of all these schools now, especially all the international, so-called international schools, they'll teach you about Spanish, they teach you about Latinos, and they won't teach you
So
about
about
tea.
the
They
local
won't teach you
about-
about other local ethnic groups we have in our own country.
And there's so many. Like I know, like sometimes I still find other tribes, and I'm like, wow, we still have you guys here, like, because you don't even hear about them anymore. Like I remember meeting someone recently, and they were like, oh yeah, I'm in Shekiri, and I was like, oh yeah, I used to remember people who used to be from Shekiri. But they exist. It's not like they don't exist. They're here. They'll probably be your neighbor. They'll be your Uber driver. They'll be your teacher. You just won't know. And I feel like at the same time too, because these ethnicities are so diminished, or they're not given a voice, it's even hard for them to also be proud of where they're from or proud of their ethnicity. Like you see, like Igbo people, not even Igbo people, you see the same Ishekiri person coming to Lagos now, and you must learn Yoruba because you claim he's, but because he knows that if he says his original, people just look at him like, you are nothing. Like, I hope everybody at home has enjoyed the show very much. Like I keep saying, whatever topics are being discussed here, it should not just rest at you watching it and be like, oh, this is a nice show. No, please carry it out to your own private circle. Discuss it with your parents. Discuss it in school. Because if you really want change in Nigeria, and I really have to plead this, if you really want change in Nigeria, you need to be able to change yourself. You need to be able to change your environment, and not just your school or your immediate environment, so your home. And after that, we hope that the change that you're trying to bring from yourself can now be spread to those in the country that you live in. On that note, it's been wonderful having this episode with you guys. I hope those of you have enjoyed the show. Until next time, this is still Digital Natives. Network is still Aleeftvng. Keep it locked. See you.